Thomas! It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it! Well done!
Fabulous solo goal by pierre-emerick.
Good evening and welcome to another special edition of Real Talk on the Arsenal Lounge. We've got our super strong team here, starting with my co-host on my left, Shaheen Shamanzar. How you doing, brother?
Good, man.
What's happening with the echo?
I don't know. I think Shaheen's probably done this thing where he's listening to it through
That's
his
better.
computer. Yeah, you see? That's amateur hour. And we've got Lee, the main man, Judges, who's now he's being scouted by talent just purely because of the Arsenal Lounge. How you doing, Lee?
Yeah. So it's ever since I've come on here, I've now got agents wanting me, talent managers wanting to have chats with me. So I can't thank you enough, guys.
Mate,
I can't.
it's a great
It might be
scout.
because Eduardo was on last week as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that as well.
Mate, it's the scouting system we got here. It's amazing. We find all the best talent, Lee. That's what it is. You still got that. We still got that echo, by the way. So whoever's got it going through their speaker. Anyone
It's
got
not
it
me.
going through their-
I don't
It's
think
gotta
it's
be
me.
someone.
It's you.
Is it me? Can't be me. I don't ever speak. Anyway, let me mute myself for a second. Someone speak when I mute it.
No, it can't,
Hello,
it can't be
hello,
you.
hello.
I reckon it's Shaheen. He's looking dodge.
No, it's not me.
Oh man. All right, I don't know what this. Anyway.
No.
And Eduardo is back in the house. He is on fire like gasoline, like it says in the background on his wall. He is back with an exclusive for you guys in the chat. We'll be waiting on that. And also, I believe he's got loads of info for us with regards to a specific potential takeover bid. So we'll go back to that later on. But first, what we wanted to do is touch on last week, Friday. There was a little protest going on at the Emirates. I know Shaheen was there, I was there, Lee was there. We tried to even give you some live feedback, but what a turnout. I mean, this wasn't no Tottenham turnout with a folk singer, a guitarist, looking like the 60s protest like your mum and dad would have done back in the day. This was some serious protest. There was flares, there was screaming, shouting, there was banners. It was madness. But along most of that as well was brilliant. Everyone got on. Everyone was singing from the same hymn sheet. So, I just wanted to touch on that firstly. I don't know, a lot of you guys globally wouldn't have experienced it. So, Lee, you was there a lot earlier than we were, and you was right in amongst it. We just about caught you sort of in the final 10 minutes before you left. I mean, tell me what was going on. I mean, I must have missed quite a bit in there.
Well, it was unbelievable. I have to say that. What was fantastic about it was that there was so many people there, and it was for the first time in a very, very long while that I can remember all Arsenal fans together. Not arguing, not all with the same, all there for the exact same reason. Yeah. And whatever way you look at it, that would have got to the point. It got to where it needed to go to as well, and that was the main thing. Listen, Arsenal, we disrupted the game, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the coach had to come in earlier than what was planned because of it all. So that apparently the coaches got there about 4:00. So I think it was, I can't even remember what time kickoff it was now.
It was an 8:00 kickoff.
8:00 kickoff. So that was 4 hours before the game that they was there. Unfortunately, one fella got injured, which I think everybody's seen the videos too and things like that.
Is that the guy that fell off the roof?
Yeah, the guy. So I hope that he's okay.
He tried to land on all fours like a cat and landed on his
nose.
Yeah,
well, so obviously he'd had a few beers and everything like that. But other than that, and as I say, I hope he's okay. It was really, really peaceful. Everybody has had a few drinks, and it was just like being back on a match day. It was like, it had that buzz about it. Yeah. And but it was, and I'll tell you what was good about it. I think we got there about 5:30, 5:45 maybe, and it was still going strong when we left, or when I left. I don't know what time you guys left. I left at 7:30. Late to get back to the studio because I was absolutely mobbed. So thanks for everybody that showed me love. I think it was unbelievable the love I got. I only had a couple of people that were having a go at me. So I thought that was.
Oh, you were well protected, Lee.
I was well protected. I had you guys looking after me. I also had my personal security in the crowd, which no one knew about. So everything was good. You know what
I was
mean?
wondering
So,
what that. I thought that was a hearing aid you had, but that was actually
that's
communication.
it, like, 1, 2, 3, get over here now, get over here now. No, it was all good, like, you know. So, and I have to say that, you know, towards the end, you know, that I think when all those mobs started, I had a few beers were being thrown up in the air, and it's time to go then, isn't it? But it hit the right nerve. Everybody you know, I was walking, I didn't have a banner or anything like that. People were giving me things to show and everything like that. Sky TV, I'd say that was the greatest thing. All the network TV medias were there, and they showed it, and they showed it in a good light for Arsenal. So that was fantastic. We're Arsenal fans anyway, and that was really, really good. It hit home, and yeah, you know, considering there was a game as well, like a lot of the fans didn't go home, did they? You know, so this just shows you how important it is to everybody.
Mate, you know what? You've hit the nail on the head there in the sense of match day. It did feel like a match day, and it just brought home how much we actually miss match days as fans. I mean, Shaheen, you was there in amongst it. Like, you know, obviously you were getting harassed for being so famous, and you was wearing your mask. You're trying to keep a low profile, but obviously you experienced it with me. We had a good laugh. We met some viewers there as well. Big shout out to the couple of a gentleman called Perry, very nice guy.
Yeah, Perry.
He took a few photos. Send those photos over, Perry, if you're listening, mate. And it was a pleasure to meet you.
He's actually sent it to me. I've sent it to you and Lee just now.
I should get that up with the old.
Email. See if I can stick it. I'm going to see if I can stick it in here.
I sent it on your WhatsApp.
Oh, did you?
I tried to upload it here to put it on, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
listen. It was really good, you know. Just like Lee said, it was like a match day feeling. There was a lot of people. It was friendly. It was peaceful. Everybody was singing from the same membership, and it was refreshing to see. There was no divide. I know Ray Parlour did his best. You know, might have been told to do that, but there was no division. There was no problems. There was nothing. Everybody was together, and that was the end of it. You know, when it finished, we went back to me, you, and the Springer. We went and we watched the game from our phone. Unfortunately, the game didn't reflect there's the same passion that was shown on the protest. But I hope the message was received. I hope, and you know, Lee was right. It was well covered by the media. So I hope that Cronkies would have seen that, and they would realize that, you know what, maybe, you know, these guys, they really don't want us here. I doubt it, but as I said, I just hope that the message would have been received.
Well, you hit a point there that really I was going to touch on anyway. The one thing that did mar it for me was the time. Listen, I got no problem with Ray Parlour and what he had to say. If it was an interview on TalkSport with regards to fan channels and the effects or whatever it is, I would have been fine with him. He's entitled to his opinion, but the timing of what he said for me was where he lost me, in the sense of that could have caused all sorts of problems. I mean, we saw what happened to Lee, and a lot of that, I think personally, was created by that TalkSport interview, because it sort of reignited that little bit of issues that we've had. We were a unified fan base for the last week or two, and just before a major protest, I mean, I was very disappointed in Ray Parlour for doing that, and I do think it was something. I mean, a couple of people there at the ground told us he's a club ambassador. We've got that confirmed, and he does do quite a bit, and he gets paid by TalkSport to appear. So to accuse Robbie, I mean, listen, I don't have any affiliations to anybody. I say it how it is. To accuse Robbie of the very thing that TalkSport do, clickbaits and for views, that what he did to Robbie that day, that was for the same reason, and it could have caused an argument or a fight. And I'm glad everyone was all right. But I mean, Eduardo, or Edu, should we say, bro? I'm going to call you Edu from now on. I promised I was going to do that last time. Did you catch any of the protests while, you know, from over there? And what was the news outlet saying over there as well? Was it covered as much as it was over here? Was it as big a deal?
Well, of course not. It's not as big because this is mainly English football. But there were in some outlets reports about what was happening, because it happened at Chelsea as well. Not Tottenham, but we're the bigger ones in London. So Yeah, it was. I felt very proud personally. I was immensely very fussed about the whole thing. Seeing all the Arsenal fans together. I was a bit worried about the COVID thing, but who cared in that situation? I'm pretty sure nobody did. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
it's a thing you have to say, because it's very tough to say if should you go or should you not go, because we are playing with the future of our club. So this COVID will go away, but it seems Kroenke doesn't want to go. So we have to pray. We have to see if Ek has enough to take over. I'm pretty sure he has. I think the backing of Thierry, of Patrick and Dennis will be enough, but we will see. And for me, the parlor thing, as an Arsenal fan, TV fan, when I was a child, I think it's very, very disappointing, because we have to unite as much as ever. I try to use my platform to help everybody out. When the protest was going on, people were sending me videos, and I started posting them so they could see what was going on. And yeah, I think we have to stay united. It's a process. We're going to see how Ek reacts in the end, and we're going to see what the future holds for our beautiful club.
Absolutely. I mean, look, there you go, Lee, just for you. It was a bit smoky there, but there you go.
It was, wasn't it? It was obviously one of the flares had gone off there, or Shaheen was having a sheesh, or whatever they call
me
it.
and you look like we've been on a sunbed for way too long there. But there you go.
We should have put him in the middle, so we looked even better. But there you go.
Anyway, so moving on nicely. I mean, Eduardo's given me a nice segue there. So look, on the way home now, Shaheen done his usual. I'm hungry, want a kebab. So we're like, okay, let's go. We're in kebab country, so let's go to get ourselves a kebab. Looking at our phones on the way to the local kebab shop, and this pops up. As a kid growing up, I've cheered for Arsenal as long as I can remember. If KSE would like to sell Arsenal, I'd be happy to throw my hat in the ring. And that was Daniel Ek. Now, as Lee would have said, flipping Ek. We're like, what is this all about? Is this even legit? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you I knew who Daniel Ek was. I'm not going to tell you I knew who owned Spotify. But obviously, it turns out he's a Spotify owner. I think Spotify is worth 54 billion. He's personally worth about 3 or 4 billion. We started looking at it. Maybe there's some, there's some legs on it. And lo and behold, over the next day or two, it started to ramp up. It's in the news. It's in Sky. And then it's serious when Eduardo or Edu starts tweeting about it like it's some serious business. It's got Lee on tender hooks now. Lee's watching what Edu's doing as well. Lee's not knowing what's going on. Lee's ringing me up. Is this serious? I'm like, well, we're going to have Edu on Wednesday. So, Edu, I'll start with you, bro. So, what have you unearthed about this? Because I know that you do a hell of a lot of research on this stuff. So, tell us in as much detail as you can what the situation is.
So, as I understand, Daniel Ek has been an Arsenal fan for 30 years, since 1991. He became a fan because of Anders Limpar. I'm pretty sure you all know about him.
So quality player, loved him.
So yeah, he has tweeted before that he's an Arsenal fan, and what I understood today is that he has been planning this takeover for a while, and I think he took this opportunity when the fans are united against Kroenke to do whatever it takes to put that bid on.
So wait, hold on. Just let me hold you there, Edu, right? So you're saying that this wasn't just off the cuff, like he's made it appear. He's been waiting for this opportunity.
He has been waiting for this opportunity, and I think he has tried before, but Kroenke didn't want to sell, which is something that we all know. But looking forward, he's taking this opportunity, and it's not common that when you're going to take over a huge business, a billion worth business, to do everything public. But this way, he's going to have all the fans backing him and trying to create the most momentum he can. Having the likes of Henry, Bergkamp, and Vieira as well, our 3 biggest players in our history probably, will also help. So some reports say his bid is going to be around 1.8 billion, and some reports say today that it's going to be worth 2 billion. He said today in the CNBC interview that I reported on that he has the funds to make the bid. He wants to speak to Kroenke, and he's waiting to see if he can do anything. He says he understands this will take a long time, but he's willing to fight for everyone, because more than a businessman and an owner, he sees himself as an Arsenal fan.
Listen, this is interesting stuff. I mean, you're right. It's very cleverly timed. If you're looking at it from a business perspective, there's protests going on, right? We're putting the pressure on. Oh, it looks like someone in the house, Lee Gunner, I believe, might be in the house. I don't know how serious that is. If that is you,
I'm
Lee,
not sure if that's Lee Gunner.
If that is Lee, big up back to yourself, mate. But look, it's very, very clever timing. If it is, if it is sort of premeditated, as you've suggested. We'll hold off on that, and you come back to you on that. Lee, what did you think when you first see that? Because I was like, I thought it was just a joke initially, but he's gone and got the 3 musketeers on board as well, and it's a smart move because we always wanted someone like players from the board or ex-players on the board. That's what's missing from Arsenal right now, that history from prior. What was your thoughts when you saw that tweet?
Smart move. That's what I thought, because it's
another smart baldy like us.
It's a good time. It's good timing, like, you know what I mean. And if he does come over, I might be able to get away with being his lookalike and get free tickets. Who knows? You know what I mean? So I'm
always looking to benefit someone.
Always got to look for the outlet.
That's why you've got talent scouts, mate. That's why you've got talent scouts.
This is it. See, so no, what I was thinking was maybe it's a good timing. The one thing I think about is, let's be real about it. You can't sell a club. You can't buy a club if it's not for sale, and if he doesn't want to sell it. So let's get that up there. And my real problem with this, still to this moment in time, is why would he want to sell it? I don't see the reasons for it. It could work in our favour, this, because I think that what this is now is putting pressure under on Kroenke now, because if he's not going to sell, okay, then do something about it and start investing in the team and the club and making sure that we're getting back successfully, like exactly what he said today. Now, he actually said what Arsenal fans want to hear. Not going on, I'm going to go and spend millions and millions. I'm not going to do this and do that. I am going to do my best to try and make Arsenal Football Club where it should be. And the fact of the matter is, it has been going downhill since the Kroenkes took over. So there's the thing there. So Mr. Kroenke, what do you want out of the club? If you are going to sell it, you're in there to make money, then he sells, doesn't he? Because he's going to make money out of it. So it'd be like we worth him selling it. If he's not going to sell it, I think it's a good thing as well, because from a fan's point of view, because he's going to have to invest in the team and do that. Because if he doesn't, people are going to go, well, what are you here for? So I also think at this moment in time, I thought was a great thing that he said today. Is he said, I don't see this being a short-term thing. This is going to be, he's going to be there. Initially he's trying to get in there. I honestly think that he doesn't think that they're going to sell at this moment in time. But this is where the fans become important. If things are not going well and things like that, let's have to keep doing the process. Let's keep this pressure on this man, because at this moment in time there is pressure, no doubt about it now, on him after what we see on last Friday. One is to either invest and start running the club properly, or get out. So there's 2 options, and the second option I would like to see now, what that I like about it is the guy is turning around and saying, I'm an Arsenal fan for 30 years. Now, I don't care if he's an Arsenal fan for 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, as long as he cares about Arsenal Football Club, which he seems to do. Now, Eduardo's a great example of this. Like, he lives out in Chile, but at the end of the day, he is passionate about Arsenal Football Club. So it doesn't matter if you're in America, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you've got the passion and hurt when Arsenal lose, that's all you want. So if he's out in America and he's feeling the pressure and pain that we do, then fantastic. But I'll tell you what he will do, and I think an owner will do, and I'm pretty sure Eduardo would do it if you could get over to England and watch Arsenal, you would be. Stan Kroenke hasn't bothered to do that. And that's another thing, like, you know what I mean? So I want to see some real commitment from the Kroenkes, not just mouth, not just this going off all the time, like, you know what I mean? And if not, sell up, mate. Sell up and let someone come in that wants to be an Arsenal fan and wants this football club to be successful for 2 reasons. Yes, financially, but also because he's an Arsenal lover and wants Arsenal to win trophies.
Well, I mean, look, Shaheen, I'm gonna throw this at you as well, and great points, Lee. 100%. You fans out there, this is just the beginning, because I think Daniel X done this, and I'll throw this to you, Shaheen. Daniel X done this on purpose. He knows that the pressure's on. Especially, could you imagine if we lose? God forbid, if we lose the Europa League tie coming up, it's going to be ridiculous. But there's people in this chat, and Shaheen, this is where I'm going at with this. There's people in this chat saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have gone public with it, etc." I think, if anything, I beg to differ this time, because
listen,
pressure is what's required. No,
listen, this is not a guy taking over, a small or a medium-sized business or a little restaurant down the corner. This is mega takeovers. There is a lot of posturing. There is a lot of politics. There's a lot of twerking going on here, right? So people, listen, if this guy was to take over from Kroenkes, I will tell you, it would take minimum a year to complete. These things, they don't, he's not going to go to Kroenkes and say, right, 1.8 billion, and Stan's going to be like, all right, mate, okay, cool, let's do it. No, there's going to be negotiations. There's going to be periods where they will cool off. So the Kroenkes will think, oh, the interest is gone, and then they will come back with a different offer. So then they will take it. There's a lot of these things going on in the negotiations in this magnitude. So I don't think this is going to be something that is going to get done within, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and then we're going to have a good summer. He's going to be here. He's going to spend some money. No, it will take a long time. The fact that the Kroenkes have come out and flat out rejected his approach is probably an invitation for a first offer.
Well, right? You know what? They actually said that in the business world at that level, when they respond, I'm not selling, it's almost a way of saying, well, okay.
What do you got? Tempt me. What do you have? Everything is a price, Lev. Arsenal has a price. It depends in Stan's view. Well, it depends in Stan's point of view. What is that price? Is it 1.8, 2 billion? Because this figure of 1.8 seems to be going around. Now, one of the politics that this guy is putting in place, if you like, is that he's going public with this. Because if he makes it difficult for Kroenkes, they might get to a point where they will think, you know what, let's just take the money and go. If he does this privately, right, Kroenkes will reject it privately and nobody will know about it. If he puts in a public offer, and he's being very clever in bringing the Invincibles in, right? So all the fans are now have got their ears open and what Vieira, Bergkamp, on. What, this guy, he loves Arsenal. He's going to come in. He's a billionaire. This, that. We don't know where the funds have been coming from. We don't know if he's going to be enough. You just said he's worth about 2 billion, right? I would say maybe Kroenkes' estimation of Arsenal is probably about 2.5 to 3 billion pounds, right? So, everybody is now all ears. He's going to put in an offer, and he's going to put in a very low offer, right? Kroenkes are going to reject it. Fans are going to go crazy. What, sell out, fuck off, this, that, the other, take the money, we don't want you here. More pressure on him, right? Next time he's going to increase it a little bit. Maybe he will bring in, I don't know, Arsene Wenger on board than that time, right? Or Tony Adams, someone like that. Increase more money. If they reject it again, more pressure by the fans, right? So he's using fan base as a negotiation tool, if you like, in order to put pressure on Kroenkes in order to sell. Now, Kroenkes might be looking at this and be thinking, you know what, because it's quite clear they don't really care about fans and fans' opinion. We've protested before, we've set things, I remember on Arsene Wenger's last game at the Emirates, I don't know if you remember, end of the game, on the big screens, they put Kroenkes' picture and everybody booed, right? It doesn't care. Okay, whatever, as long as at the end of the month I'm putting money in my pocket, you can boo as much as you like, right? So they're not really bothered about that. So they might look at it and be like, you know what, we're going to reject the offer. As Lee said, comes summer, right, we're going to go to the manager and say, listen, this is 100 million pounds. Go and buy a couple of names because we need the fans back on. If they go and spend well and bring a few names, make the team improve, then this pressure, it might start to die down, regardless of what Daniel X says or does. So there is a lot. Either way, I agree with Lee. This might work well for the fan base because if he sells, right? So we're going to have somebody who's wealthy on board, plus people who actually care about the club, who understands these people, they know what it's like to put an Arsenal shirt. They know what the fans want. And straight away, there's going to be a connection between them and the fans. Straight away, right? If Kroenkes don't sell, they will have to do something. They can't just have another average transfer window and then go on again. Because I'll tell you something, next season, the fans will be back in the stadium. Right, and the Kroenkes do not want fans in the stadium. Fans will start to protest. It's not going to be a nice atmosphere. It might affect the team's performance, and so and so, so and so. And it's just going to go downhill, especially if there's no European football. So basically, either way, it might work well for us. And you know, there's one thing as well I'd like to say. I want to see a little bit more about this guy plan for Arsenal. You know, he's bringing 3 invincibles. He's bringing them in what capacity?
Yeah, how do we know it's
board
not
members, director of football, manager on the pitch? What is the plan for them? Why they're coming on board? What, just to get us fans going, or there's going to be roles for them? If it's Patrick Vieira, has been, I would have thought that he's got a serious eye on a management career. You know, he's managed a few clubs, so he's going to wave goodbye to that and come and do what at Arsenal? Maybe he's been promised a manager's job. I don't know that, right? And what is his plan for Arsenal? You know, where is he? Yes, it's all well and good to say it's a long-term plan. Okay, we all know it's a long-term plan. Arsenal is not a club where you come in and you're going to start winning things straight away. What is he looking to do in terms of investment? What is his plan? What is his thought process? You can say, I want to do my best to get Arsenal to where he needs to be. Everybody who would want to buy Arsenal right now would say this. No one's going to come and say, right, I'm going to come buy the club and I'm going to run it down to the ground. You know what I mean? So he's saying, saying, but I'd just like to see a little bit more about this plan or this vision that he's got for Arsenal.
See, this is my concern: is whichever way we want to look at it. And Eduardo, I'll come to you, to you with this. But how do we know? You know, like, it's one billionaire to another billionaire, right? Let's be honest, they're very good at saying the right things. They're very good at, it's a very clever move to get players in. That invokes a lot of emotion from us fans. We're like, oh my God, it's Vieira, it's Omri, it's Bergkamp. It must be a good thing. We don't know that. I mean, there's people in the chat saying, it was wrong to go out public. There's others saying we should, jump on the pitch and invade the pitch and make gestures like that, like it's the 70s. Don't agree with that. But how do we know that we're not jumping from one frying pan into a fire?
Well, there's a saying that says the grass is not always greener on the other side. Yep. However, the grass in the Kroenke area doesn't exist. They've proven nothing throughout the 10 years they've been majority owners. They haven't given anything. People say, oh yeah, they gave 45 million for Partey. Only one player in 10 years, when we could have fought for a title in 2015, when we only signed Czech. For me, that's disgraceful. For me, now they're trying to save face, and I don't want to hear any of it. For me, Daniel Ek, we don't know much about him. We know he's an Arsenal fan. It's been reported that he's been to many games at the Emirates and at Highbury. So whatever happens, we're going to have a chance to change. And we're not going to be stuck with the same greedy owners that have put us in a way. Look, after the Super League fiasco, our name was tarnished. People were saying, oh, the greedy Arsenal. And we shouldn't be in that situation if they would back us before. Because we only did that because we're in need. And who guaranteed you that they were going to use that money for transfers or for the club? Yeah. So I think Daniel Ek is a possible solution. And I'm telling you something right now. What are the odds that most of these billionaires that can buy Arsenal with their means are Arsenal fans? For me, this guy is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because I don't know. I think we have to back the guy. We have to pray the guy can buy him, and we have to pray the Kroenkes go.
Well, look, there's an interesting couple of stats. Price of Football, a Twitter account, which is quite informative, run by @Kieran Maguire. I want to credit him because I don't think enough accounts credit each other's work, and we've had it done to us loads of times. So I am not that type. I'm going to credit him. He put out transfer fees owing, as in clubs that still owe money to other clubs through transfers, right?
Arsenal have the most.
Yeah, we owe the most. We owe 154 million compared to someone like I don't know, Man United owe 149 respectively. Liverpool 73 million. So he's clearly not putting in the money. We're in debt up to 154 million. Also, one of our regulars, Seb, aka Stato, done a great article on the Arsenal Lounge. If you haven't seen it, please go and see it, where it showed that we've also thrown away 160 million pounds worth of players that we could have made money on, just giving them away on contracts that have expired or freeze, or it's just bad deals. So I mean, the main thing we do know is under his stewardship, it's not going well. He's not investing.
What I also wanted to touch in is that whatever you want to say, even if you think he has spent money in the last 10 years, the people who are making the signings are appointed by the Kroenke, so they should be held accountable if we're spending 35 million on Mustafi or 51 million on Lacazette. So this is not that they are, how can I say this? They are exempt from criticism because everything runs through them. And if we are mediocre today, there's no other reason that's because of them. The owners have to care for the club, not the fans. The fans love the club, but sadly we don't have the opportunity to do anything to change that.
No, you're
you
right.
See, Lev,
Yeah,
you see, that's another thing, right? This is another thing that I would like to know more information about this guy's plan. Arsenal, we owe money, right? So, and this guy, if he's saying he's got the funds in place, right? Kroenkes will turn around and say we valued Arsenal at, I don't know, 2 billion, right? And let's say they agree on 2 billion, right? There is other monies at play here. And don't forget, Kroenkes have used Arsenal as leverage in other deals to secure funds against, right? So this new stadium in LA Rams that is building, which apparently is like 2-3 billion or whatever it is, right? Arsenal has been used as a surety in order to generate funds, right? We know there's another live loan by Deutsche Bank for Arsenal, which is the recent loan that Stan Kroenke refinanced. Okay, so all of this, right? You have to look at it and you say, okay, well, what's going to happen to all this money? Is Kroenke going to settle up all of these accounts and then, jog on, or he's going to say, well, listen, this is how much I want. This is done, for the club or whatever it is. And remember, some of these, where Arsenal has been used as a surety, the other accounts needs to be settled, which is probably by Kroenkes for the LA Rams stadium, which has got nothing to do with Arsenal. It's very complicated. That's why I'm telling you, if this guy was to do a deal, you're looking at least, I don't know, a year. I'll give you an example. Do you remember Newcastle takeover? Right? Newcastle was owned by Mike Ashley, right? There was not a lot of these debts here, surety, leverage, none of that. It was pretty much, you remember how long that took? It took over a year, and it fell through at the end because Mike Ashley had his valuation in his mind of Newcastle that was not matched by the Saudis, thankfully, and they didn't come to UK, right? This could be another situation where the Kroenkes would say, well, listen, Arsenal, stadium is paid this, that, the other. It's a money-making business. We want 4 billion for it. If you want to buy it, this is how much we want for it. If you don't have the money, or if you're not matching this valuation, then there's no point to discuss.
That's exactly right. But also, what I think, like a point here is that because this Daniel X coming, that don't mean to say someone else might not come in. If for instance, Kroenke show are willing to sell, it may get other people involved as well.
Apparently he's mates with Zuckerberg from Facebook.
Yeah. So it could happen. Like the thing about debts in transfers, and that every club's got them. The more transfers you have, the more debt you're going to get. Like over a deal, like for instance the Pepe deal. Yeah, we owe money on that, but that's because it's over a certain amount of years, and that's what they do nowadays. So I don't really go too much worrying about things like that. The bigger Man United have got big, because realistically, Arsenal, Manchester United probably have done the most transfers over the last few years because ultimately they've been like underperforming. So like that's why we're making more transfers. You know, you ever look back when unless you're tight like what we was back in 2015. But what I'm saying is from that, even when we won the title, if you win the title, you maybe have had one, maybe two at the maximum. Like, you know, not 5 or 6, and what Arsenal are doing at the moment. Because let's face it, we're so far behind that we're struggling. You know, and
that's a good point, Lee, because they're both in transition, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. So, it is what it is. You know, the end of the day, look, I still say, like, you know, Kroenkes at this moment in time are probably sitting in America, earning a lot of money out of Arsenal. What also, which people don't forget, which you've got to remember, this is Arsenal gives them clout for other businesses. You know what I mean? If they want to go and loan something, right? Well, what have you got? What have you got? Well, I've got the LA Rams and whatever. Like, I've got Arsenal Football Club. It's one of the biggest powers in sport. So it's always a bit. So without that, they're not going to have as much power. Now, let's be honest. Who had heard of the Kroenkes before they'd come over at Arsenal? No one. So that just shows you how powerful Arsenal Football Club is. It gets you global recognition. No one knew of Abramovich. You know what I mean? Like when he came to Chelsea, everybody knows him now because it gets you world whatever, like exposure, you know. So so at this moment they're going to say, of course they're going to say they ain't going to say. And I'm not being always, it's like everything's got a price, guys. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if someone's, you don't want to sell your house, you're not like, let's for instance with my house at the moment, I'm very happy with my house, and say if it's worth 200,000, like, you know what I mean, and someone comes in and says, "Oh, we'll give you 200,000 and a pound." I'm not going to sell it, am I? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but if they come in with over the odds of like 100,000 more than what it should be, I'm gonna go. Well, even though I don't want to move, I'm thinking, oh, that's a good deal. I've got to take it. So everything's got its price. It depends what it is. Now you don't really. But the thing is, from my point of view, you don't want Daniel Ek or whoever coming in and buying a club and then they've got no money to invest. So it's got to be that side of it as well. Like, do you know what I mean? It's no good saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to buy a club," and then all of a sudden I've got no money to invest in it, and then all of a sudden we're dropping down. So sometimes
that's exactly what I said, Lee. Where I'd like to see a little bit more about this plan that
of course, you know what I mean. Like, but at the end of the day, we haven't got a say so on it. You know, that side of it hasn't. But where we have got to say so is you know, like in the stands, in the fit, and making our voice heard. And that's where I think we've still got to go down that route of making our voices heard. If I see someone in the chat, and it's a fantastic point he says, if you know, the club turn around and give them 100 million and spend on 2 players, and we start doing well, we'll be quiet. Right, well, that's football. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we want. You know what I mean?
We're flip-flops, aren't we, Lee? That's what it is.
We are flip-flops. You know what I mean? Like, people don't believe that, but we are. But, you know, if Kroenke started throwing in 200, no, I'm not being horrible. Everybody is at that protest, right? Yeah. If Kroenke, for instance, come out and said, right, I'm signing Pepe and I'm signing so-and-so and so-and-so, and those 3 players were in the building in August, there wouldn't be you said, right, I'm having a protest now. You wouldn't get no one there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get no one there.
Because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's why we're protesting.
That is the reason people are protesting at the moment. Not because they hate Kroenke or whatever. It's because he's not doing his job properly as an owner of Arsenal Football Club.
Lee, I've got a question for you, right? Because I want you to clear something up, because you're a level-headed fella, right?
Yeah.
So I was having a chat with someone on social media, as you do. He said the answer to this, if you really do care, is you stop buying the season tickets and you stop this and that. And I thought about it, and I'm like, this isn't the 80s or the 90s where they rely heavily on 60,000 or 50,000 or 40,000 to turn up. And if you don't buy your season tickets, you know, the gates fall. There's a waiting list as long as your arm. Now, I'm fortunate enough I could still get a season ticket, but I'm not one of those perhaps who has had generations. And I say this before, you know, some people have had tickets in their family for generations. Their granddad's passed it to their father, their father's passed it to their son. I'm like, that's not going to solve anything, because all that will happen is you give away that ticket and then someone else will buy it, a casual fan.
Exactly.
And the core will go, and we're doing them a favour, no?
Exactly. If I was to give up my season ticket, there'd be 100 people after it. Like, do you know what I mean? So that is a fact, right? And these people, that say this, right? Yeah, right, okay, right. It's easy for someone that's not got a season ticket to say, oh, well, don't go no more. Don't go. All right, okay, right. I don't go, but then you stop subscribing to Sky, and you don't watch it on telly, because there's no point in me giving up my season ticket and then go and watching it on Sky and paying the subscription and everything like that. You've got to do the whole lot. What you've got to do is ask fans, and this is as simple as this, is to, if you're a season ticket holder, don't go in for a game. Now that's very, very easy to say to someone, right? Okay, I'm happy to do that. I'm really happy if it comes down. I'm happy to say, right, first game of the season, I'm not going in, right? But then every single fan, right? Yeah, don't watch it on telly and get your butt down to the stadium as well and protest. You know what I mean? No one watches the game. So it's all right saying to someone, right, you don't go in, but that's all right. I'm going to still sit at home and watch it on telly. Like, you've got everybody has got to make a stand, not just the people.
I agree with the merchandise. Don't buy their merchandise.
Listen,
we can't buy players.
Buy a little bit of their merchandise, but I'll tell you what, I haven't done for a very, very long while, and I'm not gonna. I used to buy when I was a kid. When I used to go to the Arsenal, I used to buy a program every game. Every game I went to, I bought a program. I don't buy a program no more. I don't. I just think, like, right, I'm not doing that. When I go into the ground, if someone buys me a beer, I'll have it. But I ain't buying a beer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't buy a beer when I go in there. I don't buy a pie. I don't buy a crisp. I don't have anything in there. I'd rather give it to the people outside. You know what I mean? But when I walk in there, as discontent that everybody is, the bars are packed. You go at half time, you've got to queue up. You missed the first 5 minutes of the first half because it's packed. So it's everybody. You've got to get everybody involved to do that. And I'm afraid you're not going to get everybody involved. Everybody's not going to do it. And if I said, right, I'll give up my season ticket, or I'll give up for a game and all that. Not everybody's going to do that. No, because everybody's different.
And why lose that core in the ground?
You see, what I say about that, Lev, is this: Arsenal is a global brand. Right? Mm-hmm. Arsenal is not, for example, a Sheffield United or a Burnley, where it's one club in one town. It's not really a touristic town, with all due respect, right? Arsenal, you need to look at it like every day there's a stadium tour. And I'm talking about pre-COVID times, and I'm referring to those, right? And when this thing comes to an end, we'll be back to that. So every day, 2 or 3 times a day, tourists come, they'll go to the stadium, they'll pay to see different things, then they'll take them to the shop. They buy things so they remember they go. There's a lot of people who buy things online to be delivered to them, right? I agree with you with the season ticket business, because if you, again, before COVID, if you went to, I don't know, West End, you see a lot of these ticket offices. They always have tickets for Arsenal or a game or a Chelsea game, popular games where tourists will want to go. My cousin lives in Sweden, right? Amount of times he told me that there are packages here, right? Flight, 1-night hotel, Arsenal ticket, and a flight back. Right? If we don't go, they'll go.
Exactly.
That's the best thing we can do, right? Is what Lee said. Let's all agree not to attend the game or leave early, or I don't know, things like this. Because listen, I'm on a waiting list for a season ticket at Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Right? When I joined, I was told it's 7 years, right? And last I checked, I got about 4 years in front of me. If you two who've got season tickets, right, you say, I want to give my season ticket back, there is a lot of people in front of me who's 4 years away who will snap up the tickets. They're not really bothered about who goes. If anything, it will be more tourist crowd kind of thing, and the atmosphere will dive nose down. It will just become, whatever. I see a lot of people saying, don't buy shirts. You need to know, Adidas has already paid Arsenal for the shirts. If you're not buying Arsenal shirts, you're not really hurting Arsenal. You're hurting Adidas probably, right? But the best thing is what Lee said. You're never going to get anybody to cancel their Sky subscription, because the minute they call Sky and say, I want to cancel, they'll be like, all right, okay, there's a cancellation fee, about 600 quid. And you're going to be like, well, I'm not going to pay that. So you continue your Sky. You're never going to get people to do that. Best way, we need to come together and say, right, we don't go to this game. We leave early or we go in late. You remember what Newcastle fans did? They went in late.
Well, Liverpool fans walked out after 75 minutes. Remember, they was they saying about tickets of £75, so they all went at £75. I would do it like, you know what I mean, since Kroenke's been here 10 minutes, well, I don't know how many years, 15 years, say, for instance, 10 years. Everybody walks out after 10 years or 10 minutes into the game, 10 minutes towards the end of the game. I'd rather do it 10 minutes into the game. But, you know, you will then get fans that will say, oh, then you're affecting the team and things like that. But what you've got to do is you might affect the team for one game, but in the long run, it's beneficial. And that's what you have to do. Liverpool fans done that. And listen, they done it. Did they pay £75 for their season? £75 for a season ticket? £75 for a game? No, they don't.
No.
Listen, Lee, Kroenkes have got their fingers hooked deep inside Arsenal. We can't get these fingers out and get rid of them without any consequences. There will be. Now, if this consequence is us losing one game because the fans are leaving the place, then so be it.
I agree.
Guys, I'm worried about the time because I know that Lee's got a big match on today. So we could go on about it all day, and I'm sure we'll come back to this on the next show. But Edu, we have got a big game coming up, right? I don't really want to talk about the Everton game. I am very worried about Leno, not going to lie. But, you know, he's costing us goals. But we've got a huge game against Villarreal in the Europa League semi-final. Now, my concern is, are these protests going to affect that as well? But putting the protests aside, apparently 3 players are back in contention, including Kieran Tierney, who was meant to be out for the season. Is that something? Have you heard anything with regards to that? Is that a little bit of mind games? Was he always due back? I mean, what's going on there? And what do you expect to see leading up to the Villarreal game? What sort of side were you going to put out?
Well, initially it was 4 to 6 weeks, as we all know. Arteta went and said that he could be out for the season, but it turns out that the signing of the summer is Bruno Mazziotti, which is the physiotherapist.
Yeah, so Brazil.
They're saying that players start running when they see him coming because he's gonna get them straight there.
He
and
looks like a menacing guy.
I mean, he's like a black belt in karate and some martial arts, so he's a tough guy. So I think I am very happy that Tierney's back. I think he's crucial to our team. David Luiz as well. He could have been out for the season. He's back
Luiz
too.
as well. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's in a potential final. Those are players that you want to be starting for the team, so we can have a chance. Against Villarreal, I think we should start with either Aubameyang or lacazette since they're back. I wouldn't give I wouldn't give the hands to Balogun just yet because it's such a big stage and fans are going to start going wild if he doesn't perform or misses a clear-cut chance. And I think we have to start like that. We have, I think, our whole squad back, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that's crucial for this moment. And I think tomorrow is going to be the biggest game of the season so far, because then we're going to have that game at the Emirates next and then the potential final in Gdansk.
Fingers crossed. Final. Look, we're already looking at the final. I hope not. I mean, you guys in the chat, brilliant. Like, you lot are going off the chain with this. Please like, subscribe, put your notifications on. We want to do these shows as much as we can. We'll have Eduardo Edu on as much as we can as well. He's our new correspondent from Chile. Look, the Villarreal game is huge. At the end of the day, we've got to find balance as fans because we want to protest and get this guy out, but at the same time, we want to support without affecting. I think the next protest on the match day on the 6th of May. Is it? When is it? I think there's a.
I don't know. I've seen a few. I don't know what's happening or what's what.
It would be very difficult to do a protest in the semi-final for me. I don't think we should. We should do it in the league game.
No, I don't think
100% agree.
100%. I agree. I mean, we got to at the end of the day, the team comes first. We've got to get behind them, and we need to get there. You know, whatever's going on, the players and the manager didn't have anything to do with it. So we've got to think of that as well. So as fans, let's get it right, guys. Let's support our team first. But yeah, we do want this guy out. So what do you guys expect from this Villarreal performance? And I know that Edu's got some nice, juicy gossip for us. Just hang tight, guys, but we need to get through this stuff first. So, Lee, Villarreal, what's going to happen? Are you confident? Are we gonna...
Yeah, I'm confident. Listen, we've got to get to result. We have got to get a result over there. I don't care what anybody says, you know what I mean? Because our own form is abysmal. And I think that the pressure of playing the game at the Emirates, knowing that if they score, it could be worth double. I think our defence, we're buckle and things like that. But if we can go over there and get a good night, couple of goals, I feel comfortable. Listen, I watched Barcelona a little bit like, sorry, not Barcelona, Real Madrid versus Chelsea yesterday. It's the poorest Real Madrid side I've seen for a very long time.
They had a few injuries, didn't they, yesterday?
Say again?
They did have a few injuries, right?
They've had a few injuries. They've had a few injuries all season. But ultimately, they're second in the league. It's the poorest Real Madrid side I've seen. Villarreal about 9th, right? Yeah. So I know that we're poor as well, and also, you know, they're probably capable of getting a one-off performances like we have. But I think that I look at a couple of the league games before, and even like the game against Everton, we weren't really at it against Everton, and you've only got to be 5-6% off, and that's what happens. But I think we'd be right at it on Thursday. We should be. I don't think none of those guys will start, but it's nice to have them back, getting training, nice little weeks training for the next game, and more importantly, hopefully, if we can get through this game, they'll be all available for the final. That is what we're looking at. I don't think none of them will be risked tomorrow. Aubameyang might be because it's not an injury, but I can't see them risking Lacazette or Tierney just in case they might break down for longer.
Do you not think they're going to target that left-hand side, having seen what happened to Xhaka against Richarlison at Everton?
Yeah, obviously they may target it, and that's why I think that maybe someone like a Martinelli might come into the left-hand side instead of Pepe, because what Martinelli does will get back and chase and harry, you know, and just say like stick Xhaka out there, or maybe he goes with Smith Rowe out there, you know, so someone that will protect that left-hand side a little bit better. And that would mean then that Odegaard will come into where Smith Rowe will be playing. That's what I think will happen. I think that Smith Rowe will go out to the left-hand side, Odegaard will come into the middle, and they'll just protect that side of it a little bit like. And I think it will be like Pepe will probably be sacrificed. And I think they go with Aubameyang if he's fit, and Saka on the right. That's what I think that they will do. And then the two midfield players, Ceballos and Partey. And I think that, you know, we've got to be adventurous. We've got to be cautious, but we've also got to be, you know, an away goal in this game will be vital to us, like, you know. So I think that we need to score. If we do score, I think that, you know, not really go at them for the first 20-25 minutes like we did in Prague. Let's take it to them. I think it's best if we take it to them there than if we do it at home, because if, you know, like the goals conceded at home could be worse for us. So that's what I think. I'm confident that we'll win this game. And guys, if we can't beat Villarreal to get to a final against either Roma or Manchester United to get Champions League football, then, you know, we're in a pretty bad state. And I think that we've got good enough players to do that, and I think we will.
Shaheen, some good points you made in here.
Yeah, man.
Like in the chats as well, like left back position, guys. You can all say something on this.
Yeah, listen, just everybody. Yeah, listen, everybody in chats. You know, just write down, or if everybody who's watching this show, write down your comments. Write down, sorry, your team in the comments, or even if you're here, if you're in the chats right now, write your possible team. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to our channel if you're new. Hit the like button. It helps us when you hit the like button and, you know, subscribe. So if you like the show, you can see more of it. Listen, for me, this Thursday, as I said, we've got in Europa League, every game is a cup final for me, right? Every game is important. So this game is important. If we go there, get a result, then the second one will be important because we have to obviously make sure the result's still the same. And then the final is the final. I just hope they go out there and they just perform. Go for it. No regrets. No regrets.
See, I would go Odegaard in the 8 position where Ceballos is. I would take Ceballos out and put Odegaard there. I think Odegaard's
you know what?
8.
I'm not going to even.
Good call.
Yeah, but I'm not going to even say nothing about the lineups because Arteta does some mad moves sometimes. So you never know. Maybe he has a surprise. From what I know of injuries and injury type, I don't think Lacazette will be back for tomorrow. I know they say he's back, he's ready, this, that, the other. From what I know of hamstrings and this and that, it's not something that heals quite quick. Don't forget, Unai Emery is a specialist in Europa League. On paper, we should be beating these. No problem. This is Arsenal Football Club, right? Good players. We need to be beating. But, you can't take into account we go there and then there's an individual mistake and then we concede. That sort of things. This is what worries me about Arsenal. Individual mistakes, concentration levels, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, would you start Luiz?
I don't think he's ready.
No.
You can't, the guy hasn't played football for a while. You can't just drop him in a semi-final like that. Yeah. If he goes there and makes a mistake, Arteta and Luiz, they're both under a lot of pressure. And I'm just conscious. Yeah, I'm just conscious of the time as well, Lev, because I know Eduardo has got some info as well. So I don't know if you want to go.
All right. Very quickly, predictions for tomorrow's game. Go, Eduardo.
3-1. 3-1 Arsenal.
To Arsenal, yeah. The judge.
2-1.
2-1 for Arsenal, yeah. Yeah, Shaheen.
I would say 1-1.
1-1. I'll probably say 1-1 as well. I hope we win, but I'll say 1-1. So very quickly moving on now, right? We've been promised some juicy info, yeah. So
it's exclusive for us.
A couple. Well, apparently he's got one or two others as well. So Eduardo, the floor is yours, bro. Hit us with the news you want. You'll be holding one from last week, and you got a new one as well, apparently.
Well, the first thing is that I don't want to put my hands in the fire like I did last time.
I've seen people going at you about.
As some people know, Upamecano. Yeah, things I am going to explain very in detail, so people don't judge me afterwards if it doesn't happen. So, as I understand, last season's plan was to sign the player we were going to try to sign this summer, but unfortunately, we fumbled it and we made them stay up in this division. As you know, that team is Aston Villa. And the player we were targeting that time
no, don't tell me Grealish.
would have been much cheaper. And Arsenal would have gone for him in that situation. However, things didn't happen. And
who's that?
If that's a big if we get Champions League football and we can make proper sales, I am aware that the top target for Arsenal this summer is still the same man.
Which is?
Jack Grealish.
No way.
So we have to stay patient, though. There's many things.
That's ambitious, though, I must say.
It is. Aston Villa will ask for around 80 to 90 million pounds.
Yeah, so, I would thought so.
But we got 90 odd millions worth of players to get rid of now, Eduardo.
That's the thing. But there's many factors that come into this. So first, we have to get Champions League football to attract a player like Grealish. Fortunately for us, Aston Villa remain without Europe at the moment. So we have that chance. We have that point in our favor. We have to sell because we have Torreira, Guendouzi, El Neni, Lacazette. So many cases that have to be solved before that happens. But as I understand, if everything goes right, it's Jack Grealish who we want.
Now, how do you find such things out, Eduardo? I mean, I
have contacts.
You have contacts, yeah?
Hold on. Is that the only one, Eduardo?
As I understand so far, yes, that's a top target. I'm not aware of the business as a whole yet. If we want a right back, that's for sure, because Bellerin's probably leaving. But for the name that I know right now, and I wouldn't say it if I wasn't sure, it's Jack Grealish.
And he's good friends with Saka, isn't he? They're really
He is.
You can see they're constantly...
And I tell you what, you see all this protest business, right? If Crunkies, they say no to this Swedish dude, right? Then they would have to cough up the money for this guy. Because if they sign Jack Grealish, fans will be like...
Fans will go mad.
No, I don't think they'll go mad, but they'll be like, they're acting how they should. So they're not giving us excuse to go at them.
You know what? That's a very good point. If you're going to get someone like him, now's the time, right?
Again, I would like to emphasize that there's many things that must happen before this could come to fruition. With Upamecano, I said it, but people didn't want to hear me. I said that we had to get Champions League football, and we didn't. So now he's a Bayern player, and they hold that against me. But so to stay calm, but the name
Is there any other
is
name
striker.
that is being mentioned around?
I know for a fact that we have interest in Tarek Lamptey, Akraf Hakimi, and Emerson Royal. We will see who we target depending on how much money we have, and of course Bellerin. It's most likely 90% that he's going to leave, so that's very important as well. And I don't think we should go ahead with Chambers at right back because he's just not a right back, and even if he changes to being a right back, he's not a top 4 right back. So we have to make that change, and I think we have to solve the situation in midfield as well. But I don't think there's any names yet because
Basuma.
there's many names there. Bissouma, you have Sumare, Chouameni. There's many names that can be discussed, but I think that's not priority right now. And I think this is not information that we're not going to sign a striker this summer because we have Aubameyang, Balogun renewed, and probably Martinelli is going to move there as well. So that's what I have at the moment. But again, many things have to happen.
Judges, Grealish. What's
Listen, I would love it if Jack Grealish come to Arsenal. Absolutely love it because he's a player that we could do with. Because I tell you what he can do. He can play out on the wing. He can play in that little number 10 pocket as well, and he can play off the striker. I just think that he's something that we need at the football club. 90 million's a lot of money, but I have to say, but he's, I think, the best English attacking forward in the or midfield come forward in the country. You know, I had a look at Sterling at the weekend. If Sterling plays in front of him, you know what I mean, then Gareth Southgate deserves to be shot. It's as simple as that, like, you know what I mean? So he's just awesome. I like him. Listen, he does like the Arsenal. I remember him getting beat. Do you remember that game when we lost? We beat them 3-2 when we
Aubameyang free kick.
He come off that day and he said, like, despite the result, it's the best ground to play. The best ground to play at. You don't say things like that if you're not interested about something, you know. So there's a motive in him saying that, you know, because otherwise you wouldn't say it. I think that if you look at Manchester City, look at you know, certainly Manchester United, he's guaranteed of playing more games for Arsenal than anywhere else. It would be a magnificent move for him as well as us. We need something like that to really boost everybody. A real big major signing, like, you know. Whether it will be him or not, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I would think that if Arsenal are not in for him, they'd be absolutely mad.
Why shouldn't we? I mean, there's people in the chat saying,
exactly
no
what
way, no way. We're Arsenal.
It's not impossible.
Exactly.
Our history plays a big part. And if we get Champions League football, we still are attractive. People don't understand that.
100%.
Some people think we're a mid-table club. Well, we are, but we are a huge club.
And don't forget, someone said in the chat, which is a good point, Martinez was sold on the cheap.
Yeah, that's true. Look, Liverpool a couple of years ago, people were laughing at Liverpool. They were dead in the water, this, that, and the other. All right, they won a few Champions Leagues, not like a minor thing, but they weren't that consistent side of the 80s and the, you know, they weren't dominant team anymore. They'd gone a long time. All of a sudden, people have forgotten that Liverpool went through that barren spell, and all of a sudden, they're a big side again. Look, everything happens in cycles, right?
Also, they went and out of nowhere slapped 75 million to break a world record for a center back with Van Dijk, and that changed their team forever.
Yeah, that's because they had Coutinho.
They sold Coutinho. Coutinho.
Yeah,
we have to do many more gymnastics because we don't have such a valuable asset. But maybe Saka, but we're not gonna sell Saka. But so, as I say, let's remain calm because everything. Look, if we lose badly tomorrow, this Grealish dream could go and fade away instantly. So we have to get to the final. We have to win the final. We have to make the sales, and then hope everything goes our way.
We are treading on eggshells as fans and as a team. It could go wrong at any point, or it could go right. So just as simple, just as easy. It's crazy. I mean, you did mention you had something else, Edu. Is there anything? Did you mention everything you wanted to mention, or you said to me off camera you had one other juicy bit of gossip for me?
Oh, I think I have covered everything that I needed to say. I think
good. Just checking before I let you go.
Yeah. Some people didn't know about that. We wanted him last year, but they stayed up, so it became impossible. So that's some of the background work that I've been recovering throughout this last months.
Well, you've heard it here first, guys. I mean, you know, we it's a player that we all love. Let's be honest. But it is very much dependent on whether or not we get that Champions League. There's a few people asking. One guy has asked me a question, Lev, who would you, as the visuals speak, who would you want Arsenal to sign this summer except Grealish? Well, it could be any number of players, but I do want a midfielder, someone like a Basuma instead of a xhaka, for example. But look, it's been a great show. Loads of things going on. I wish I could shout out everybody.
Please hit the like button, people. Subscribe.
Yep, and notifications on. Edu, there's lots going to happen over the course of the next week. Can we have you back on next week potentially?
Absolutely.
We'll have you back on next week.
It's a pleasure.
Lee, anything else you want to chuck in before you go, mate? I know that your team
No,
is
I've
relying on
got
you.
to go now, so you can. That's it. I'm out of here, like, you know what I mean. Football now, but like looking forward to next week now, and you know, we can discuss. Well, what's happened on Thursday? We know a little bit more about where we are and Jack Grealish this time next week.
Oh my God. So next week, be here 5:30 for Real Talk. Keep your notifications on. We've got Friday fan cams as well. So keep your notifications on. We've always got new shows coming out. Anything you want to finish off with, Shaheen, at all?
Nah, man. That's just like Lee, I need to go play football as well. So thank you for everybody for giving us your time. Hit the like button, subscribe. Eduardo's Twitter is at Eduardo Hagn, Lee at Lee Judges, and his channel is coming up soon as well.
Don't
so
worry,
thank you for giving us the time.
His talent agent is going to be sorting that all out soon. So keep an eye out for that. I'm Lavandra. You can get me at Lavandra on Twitter if you want to have a chat with me. And I'm always open to chat to you guys. Edu, it's been great having you on, bro.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Gossip. Any more juicy gossip, save it for next Wednesday, right?
Absolutely.
We'll have you back on. We'll discuss hopefully some updates on the Daniel X situation, hopefully with some good news with regards to tomorrow's game. So I think that's it, guys. If anyone in the chat wants to drop us any messages, want anything we want us to cover, or you know, anything you want to ask, we're all fans. Let's discuss. That's it for tonight. I hope you're happy with that, guys. We'll see you next week or Friday if you're going to watch. I'm Lavandra. This is the Arsenal Lounge, and we're out.